Namaste and welcome back to the channel, everybody. This is your Aorus X6B, aka Chabi Dhakal. I hope you guys are doing absolutely fine. I am doing great, guys. I'm doing fantastic. So on my last video, you guys have seen all the parts and accessories for my gaming PC build, and I hope you guys like that video. If you haven't checked that video, go check it out. The links will be either somewhere down below or somewhere up here. So on this video, I'm going to be building that $6,000 monster PC, right in front of you guys. So without further ado, let's get going. Let's start building this computer. I am super excited, super pumped. As you guys can see, I have got all my accessories ready, all the tools and everything ready to go. So yeah, let's get started, guys. Okay guys, so to get started with the build, I generally like to strap myself with the anti-static band and prep the motherboard. In order to prep my X570 Aorus master motherboard, I'm gonna mount the processor, the M.2 SSD and the RAM on it, so that it's all mounted, prepped and ready to go. That way I don't have to fiddle while the motherboard is mounted into the case. So let's get the motherboard out. You guys know it's a Aorus X570 Master. It is a monster of a motherboard. We're gonna use the box for the staging and mounting everything. So let's take this static foam out, and we can probably keep it here. Let's keep the motherboard that way. All right, so the very first thing that I like to do on the motherboard is to mount the processor. So let's get our Ryzen 9 3950X out of the box. Ooh, look at that, eh? All that packaging for this tiny little monster, get it? So let's get that out of here. So we'll take this out, and we want to take this lever and release it, and carefully, without bending any pins, what we want to do is you want to look for this tiny arrow. So look for this tiny arrow right about here, and look for the similar one on the motherboard so that you can line those. So I've seen there is an arrow in here, and even if you look at the pins, that is, yeah, so that one is missing one pin in there. So that's the key. You just want to basically drop it in here. Nice, there we go, and give it a little bit of a wiggle, just so that you make sure it's seated in there. So once it's seated in there, we basically want to put the lever back, and now you shouldn't be able to wiggle the motherboard or CPU anymore. So now we have got our CPU inside. There we go. So CPU is already installed. Next up, so we're going to put this box aside. Okay, next up is for the M.2 drive. This is the Corsair MP600. Let's take this one out. And okay, oops, right here. Look at that, Corsair MP600. We want to mount this right here where it says M.2. So basically, this motherboard can do 3 different M.2 drives. So 1, 2, and 3, I have already taken the heat shield off, the heatsink off from here, and I have already made it ready. There is also a screw here which I want to take it out. The standoff is also installed already in my case, so let's just put this one, align it just so you kind of, okay, there we go, so you hear the click and it goes in. Okay, now it's time for me to put the screws. So that M.2 drive is secure there. So I mean, even though there are 2 others, this is the one that directly communicates with the CPU channel. So I prefer to put it on the very first one. That way you're utilizing the most amount of bandwidth available for you for read and write. So there we go. So now we're prepped with the CPU. We're also prepped with the M.2. Now it's time to install some RAMs in here. Okay guys, so I got 2 sticks of Trident Z Neo G-Skill. These are 32 gig each, so total of 64 gigabytes. We're gonna take them out and refer to your motherboard manufacturing guide for you to install if you're only installing 2 out of 4 sticks. I'm gonna be installing only 2, and I've already referred to my guide. So we basically want to install, so there we go, so Trident Z skills that way. So the trick is to align this like that and just drop it into the slot until it clicks. So let's just, this side is clicked, this side is clicked as well. Voila. Let's do the same thing for the other one. The skills, you're aligned, and there. Clicked on both sides. Make sure these are, nice and secure. There we go. So we have prepped our board to go into the case at this time. So I'm going to keep this aside and then move on with the other stuff. Okay, next step is to prep the AIO cooler. So I got a Corsair H115i Platinum Series RGB AIO cooler. I'm gonna take this out and we're gonna mount the fans. It comes with the 2 RGB fans. So let's keep this aside. All of this is gonna go there. Corsair kind of does it from the side. We got 2 RGB fans. Oh, those are 2 beefy looking fans, eh? And the radiator itself. Oh my god, this is much bigger than I thought. Okay, radiator and some cables. So we're gonna take, oops. Obviously the mount, we have to prep them for Ryzen. Okay guys, so I got my radiator ready, the AIO cooler. So now I'm gonna be mounting the fans. So let's mount these fans and get them ready. So I've already kind of, figured out where it goes. Okay guys, so I have prepped my IO cooler with the fan and everything, so that one's ready to go as well, except for the CPU mount, which I'm going to do that right now. So let's just see which one of this is for. This one is definitely not the one. These are the ones for the AMD type. So that's the standoff for this, but I don't think I need this right now. So I want to take that. These are the ones that's going to be used for the AMD chipset, so I'm going to be using that. You know, we'll keep them here. So let's keep this aside. The AIO cooler is going to go on the side as well, so let's just keep it away for now. Okay guys, so next step is to prep the case. So I've already got my case here, Corsair H115i Crystal Series. So we're going to take the side panel off. I'm also going to take the top tempered glass panel off. So you just got some thumb screws that you need to remove to take this off. So I'm just going to take it off so that it makes it easier for me to mount the fan and whatnot. So let's get that going. All right, top panel is removed. Now in order to remove the side panel, which kind of swings open like this, but I want to completely remove it for now. All you gotta do is take the screw here on the top, which is kind of hard to see here at the back. Let's try to remove this, and there we go. And now the panels should just kind of slide up, and we'll keep this aside as well. In order to remove the panel on this side, all we gotta do is just basically undo these thumb screws. They might be a little tight. You can just use the screwdriver just to kind of loosen them. There we go. So it's been, there we go. Okay, side panel is also taken off. Okay, now you guys can see it better. On this side, this is where the cable management and the power supply unit and everything, and even the hard drives, they will all go in here. And on this side, which is, you know, you guys can see it here, this side is where the motherboard and everything is mounted. So right now I'm looking at it, there are some standoffs. I just have to make sure the standoff that are meant for motherboard, they matches the standoff on my actual motherboard. So this is the time I probably leave this and then start working on it. Bunch of cables here, which we will take him off and put him on the side. So okay, the other thing I want to do is remove this fan, because I'm going to replace this with the RGB. This is the non-RGB version. So I'm just going to remove the fan for now. Okay, that's taken off. Okay, so this is just the plain non-RGB version. We'll take those off. Keep all of this aside here. Okay, now it's time to inspect and make sure the stand-ups are right, like I was telling you guys before. Okay guys, so I've got the case ready and now I'm ready to mount the motherboard. So basically I've already checked and inspected the case to make sure there's nothing wrong with it. I've also make sure all the stand-ups are in correct position. So now we're gonna use some screws to mount this motherboard here. So let's grab the motherboard and put it in. The good thing about this motherboard is that the I/O shield is already pre-installed and you don't need to worry about it. I'm just gonna carefully place this thing here so that it doesn't scratch any other stuff. All we gotta do is start putting some screws, and even that one actually worked out to be perfect. So looks like our motherboard is nice and secure. So just gonna peel some of this in case. Here is our Corsair QL120 RGB fan, which is gonna be two of them is gonna be mounted in the bottom, and one of them is gonna be mounted here on the side or at the back. So let's get that one too. So far all the fans are mounted. I'm waiting for the I/O stuff to be mounted on the top, but before that I need to mount the power supply. Alright guys, so we got a pretty beefy power supply here. We're gonna unbox that. I'm looking for my unboxing knife. Okay, you guys can see so far it's all been a Corsair theme, so we'll do sorry boys and girls, I don't have another angle, but that's Corsair HX850. This is Corsair HX850 power supply, 850 watt of goodness on this thing. So pretty amazing, huh? Okay, we're just gonna install this guy facing this way. There are multiple options. The fan is gonna have to face that way. So I guess what the only option is like that one. Power supply unit mounted. So now that our motherboard is mounted and all the fans and everything is mounted, I still got to mount a radiator here on the top, and then the other thing is now I'm gonna start connecting all the cables. So now let's start with some of the CPU cables. So these are labeled CPU, so I'm just gonna use these ones. Let's just go this way, because later on once I mount the radiator, these are going to be hard to access, so I decided to kind of move my camera around and show you guys, you know, how I was gonna connect those. So I think the best way is to route this over here, because this one doesn't say anything. So they should fit right in there, you know, it shouldn't require any additional pressure for you to, you know, mount this. So if it doesn't fit in the hole, that means it doesn't belong in that hole. That's a general rule of thumb. So, and here's the 24-pin connector. So we're gonna route this to about here, I think. That looks pretty good to me. This I will probably change it in the future with the there we go. Now I'm gonna probably change this with the breaded cable, individually wrapped cable or sealed cable, but for now this will have to do it. Oh man, yeah, that doesn't look that good, especially with that heat sealed. It just kind of looks ugly. I don't like that look, but that's okay. So alright, we've got some PCIe Gen 4 connectors, we'll keep them aside. I'm installing this plate on the radiator, that way it's easy to mount it up there. So let's just install it, which I should have probably done it in the beginning. I've already connected some of the front headers and fan connectors and whatnot. So now it's time for me to mount the CPU cooler or the water cooler. So right now it has an Intel mount on it, so we have to remove this, and I'm gonna mount the AMD mount on it. Well, where are you going? There we go. So yeah, let's just mount this thing first, and then we'll mount the cooler there. Okay guys, so now everything is done except for the graphic card that I have to install, and this ROG STRIX 2080 Ti overclocked is ready to go. I have decided to mount this vertical, so like this position, except I'm mounting it that way. So I've got a riser cable. This is a PCIe 3.0 riser cable. We're gonna end up using this. So let's quickly unbox this beefy RTX 2080 Ti, and we'll look and see what's in the box, what it looks like. So I've broken the seal, and this card is humongous, man. This is huge, bro. Okay, OMZ. This is just, oh. Just look at the size of this. Like, this is crazy big. Wow. And this is one of the costliest thing on my build. It cost me $1,800, like almost $1,900, Canadian for this card. But man, oh man, this is a killer one. So that is metal construction built like a tank. That is all metal. I'm gonna be mounting it vertically like this. So let's see. Okay, so let's undo this brackets here. So this one's got a dual display port, dual HDMI, and USB Type-C. You can use both HDMI and both display ports at the same time, so you can power 4 different monitors using this card. So yeah, that one's out. And the second bracket, I want to take it out. I have a feeling that I should probably do a 3D printing. I mean, I don't have a 3D printer, but I should get some help from my buddies and do a 3D printing. One of my buddy do have a 3D printer. Maybe I should talk to him about building a 3D printed support, because this card is so heavy and it's gonna be mounted like this. I have a feeling over time it might actually sag, which is not a good sign. So I might actually end up doing that. Awesome, there you have it guys. So now that the graphic card is also mounted, it took a little bit of time for me to route all the PCIe cables and everything, but now it's all mounted and ready to go. So for now my PC is complete. Obviously I gotta put the side panels for both the sides, but I want to show you what it looks like. So this is what it looks like from the front, or I should say from the right side where the tempered glass is gonna go. So this is gonna be all visible, and here is the other side. Well, this is the back of it, and this is what it looks like at the back. I tried to do a little bit of a cable management, but I'll probably do a little more. This is gonna be hidden anyway, so I don't really need to worry that much, but I wanted to do the best job possible. That's why I took a little bit of time. I still gotta, I think I could do a little better. But anyway, so this is what it looks like right now from the other side. So let's plug some power cord and let's fire up this puppy and see if it comes on. All right, moment of truth, guys. Let's turn it on. Ooh. Look at all that goodness. Oh my God. It's working. It's working, guys. Okay, let me turn that off. The BIOS is loading. As you guys can see back here, let me move this puppy right here. OMZ. There we go. It turns on, and I see the light on the pump. I see the light on the RAM chip. I see the light on the motherboard. I see the lights on the fan, and they're all running. So far, so good. So far so good. So I put it into the BIOS. It's recognizing almost all the fan. The only one fan is not recognized, so I gotta figure that out. I'm also looking at it. So it's seeing all the CPU cores. It's also seeing the the processor type, and it's also seeing all the RAM and to the corresponding slots that they're inserted into. So far it's looking good. Pretty good for a first build. I mean, I took the time to do the research and I took the time to build this. Obviously I started yesterday, and it took me 2 evenings because I was working during the daytime. So I took 4 hours yesterday to do it, and then left it like that, and another couple hours today. So far so good. I still gotta download the Windows and install it, so Windows 10 Pro. That one I have to work on it. Now that the physical work is done, so I can start working on the logical side. I also have to tune it, do lots of stuff to make sure it works at the optimum level. But so far it's looking lit. It's looking killer, man. A whole bunch of software that needs to be installed after the Windows is installed. So guys, so now that I know the PC works, it's booted up and ready to go. It's time to mount the side panels, so that way it's nice and protected. Obviously I will do some peeling work later on. All right, let's line this up and line this up. There we go. So that is mounted. We're just gonna secure it with a screw. So this is what it looks like from the front, guys. Isn't this gorgeous? Pretty awesome. So guys, now that the PC is built, ready to go, I'm ready to install the Windows. So I'm just making a Windows bootable drive here using my laptop. I'm just using one of my external drive to make the Windows installation media. As soon as that's done, I'm gonna be plugging that into this computer and install the Windows and activate it. Okay guys, so this is the next day. As you guys can tell, my beard has grown a little bit. So what a hassle it was to build this PC. I mean, a PC build without any hiccups, that's not fun at all, right? So I had some sort of fun with this MP600 Corsair SSD. So the one that I had was a faulty one. No matter what I tried, it wouldn't recognize in the BIOS, nor it would be seen in the Windows installation. So I had a hard time. I tweaked the BIOS, I downgraded the BIOS, I upgraded the BIOS, I did everything I could, and nothing would work. And there was a point where it had seen the drive, but it was showing 0.00 GB. That kind of raised me a flag saying that, okay, this is faulty. So I've decided to take it to Memory Express, and they were very happy to exchange that. Big thumbs up to Memory Express. They exchanged it for me another one, and I brought that one and I inserted here, and voila, it is sewn up in the BIOS. So now I'm all ready to install the Windows. So let's get started. Let's install the Windows and let's finish this build, because it's taken like almost 4 days for me to complete this build, after work. So yeah, let's get going. Really easy to make the Windows installation media. I've actually used this 128 gig Samsung USB 3.0 drive, pen drive to create the installation media, and I'm going to insert this into the computer and we'll start the process. It's probably going to take a while for me to install that, so I'm probably going to fast forward or skip through that process. But yeah, so here it is. I'm going to be plugging into the USB drive there. Oh boy. Okay, so we're gonna reboot. How does the PC look, guys? How does it look? Like right now it's running on a default color theme, so it's rainbow and everything. This is not the color theme I want to go all the time, but I'll probably save, you know, different profiles. Let's see what I can come up with. I have to download all the application and everything. There we go. So we just booted into the Windows installation media. So now let me just change the country here to Canada. So we'll just go here, we'll find Canada, currency and time. We'll get that keyboard, we'll leave it as US, next, and we'll install now. And this is the step where I have to enter the activation code. I mean, even if you don't have an activation code, you can still move ahead. But in my case, I do have an activation code, so I'm going to install that here, or input that, I should say. So right now, I haven't enabled any of the overclocking, XMP profiles, even for the memory, even for the PCI lane to take the advantage of that PCIe 4, Gen 4. I haven't set that parameters in the BIOS. I have to go ahead after the Windows is done. I have to go ahead and enable all that. So because I want to have the very stable install of the Windows, I don't want to do that in advance. So first I want to install the Windows, and then after I'm going to go inside and basically tweak all those profiles the way I like it or the way I wanted it. So look at that, like 80%. I don't remember Windows being installed this fast, you know, before. So right now, if it is utilizing PCIe 3.0, then it's probably getting around 3900, you know, like 3900 megabits per second. But in order to get that, I have to, or in order to get the higher speed of that SSD, I have to enable those profiles there. Oh, look at that. In Windows needs to restart. That was really fast, like didn't even took any time at all. Man, that's so impressive. Ooh, this is exciting, guys. This is exciting. Looks like the Windows is installed because it's taking some moment to set up my desktop. So, wow, let's just start with the reason. I am excited. Canada looks good to me. Just a little update now. So now that you guys can see Windows is installed, it's almost at the finishing stage. So I had no problem installing Windows. So I think my desktop is almost ready and good to go. Now I'm going to tweak a few things, you know, install a few other apps that I needed, and then slowly move forward installing extra drivers and whatnot that I need. I think it is completed for this build, and I'm super excited, super pumped. This video is almost done too. I just gotta take some b-rolls, you know, some other shots. I know this is gonna be the longer video, so I mean, if you guys are still watching this video, I appreciate that. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you liked it. If you did, give me a big thumbs up. If you already haven't subscribed to the channel, consider subscribing. If you're not following me on social media for all the behind the scene and pictures and whatnot, come and follow me on social media by typing my name, Chabi Dhakal, just down here on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. And stay motivated, stay positive, you know, stay safe. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.